everyone, thanks for coming to this quick conversation that I'm having with Darin Brown. We're going to celebrate a little bit of Journeys Crossing, and many of you are wondering, what kind of preempted or is behind Darin and Donna's recent move to Virginia. So we want to talk about that and kind of look ahead to what's going to be the future at Journeys Crossing with them about 90 miles away. So we're going to start with some fun stuff, all right?
Yep.
Because there's been a ton of fun stuff over the last, can you believe it, 19 years.
19.
This October that Journeys Crossing came to be and it still exists, and we've had a ton of fun through those years. So Darin, why don't you go ahead and start and share some crazy stuff that's happened.
Right. There's so many things, right? I mean, it could fill up a book. In fact, I'm working on a book, Mark. It's called Crooked River Stories, that shares a lot of, I think probably at least 3/4 of the book is going to be fun stuff from Journeys Crossing. But I think about
everybody go to Amazon when it's released.
Yeah,
I want you to buy that.
It'd be great. Maybe we'll have like a what's it called, like a book release party or something like that. So anyway, but I think a lot about the baptisms over the years, just hundreds of people giving their life to Christ, and what a privilege it's been, for me to be a part of that. Young people, old people, people who were so far away from God and coming to Christ. So that's been a huge amount of fun. And then I think a lot about
hundreds of people.
Hundreds of people, yeah. So
crazy cool.
Crazy cool, and all kinds of different bodies of water and stuff. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's an awesome memory. And then I think also about the many mission trips, Mark. I'm from such a small town, and never in my wildest imagination thought I'd be able to see the world. And Journeys Crossing has allowed me to do that. And so many fun trips. People always ask me, what's the best one? And I'm like, it's too hard to pick one.
They're all different.
They're all different, and they've all just been absolutely amazing. So many of you have been on these trips with me, and we've made a difference all over the world. And so, I mean, I have great memories of those things. And then the other thing is, outreach projects that we've done. Our church started in the wake of 9/11.
Right.
And so right after that, we were doing all kinds of things to help first responders, and we went down into D.C. and helped people. And I remember the chaplain from the Pentagon, who was the guy that knocked on people's doors to had to tell them the bad news about their loved ones from the explosion at the Pentagon, and him coming up and sharing with our church, and us encouraging him and stuff. And then Hurricane Katrina relief. 3 times we went down to the to Mississippi and twice to New Orleans, and to do those kind of. So it's just a lot of stuff, a lot of fun memories. Oh, and then the Surge Mobile is a fun memory for me too. I don't know, some people may not know that we bought this big box truck. We were going to buy an ice cream truck, and there's a whole story about how that went bad for us. But anyway, we bought this big box truck, and we put a vinyl wrap on it. It looked like a circus truck, basically.
Yeah,
and
it was cool.
We'd run it through Labor Day parades in Gaithersburg. We'd take it to kids and give ice cream away in neighborhoods. So anyway, that's some of my stuff. What are 2 or 3 of your favorite things?
Oh, I was thinking, since we just had 9/11, that was kind of on my mind as well, because we did so many things, and I can remember that we were given a grant to help people directly affected by that. And one of the things that was mind-boggling for me was we threw a Christmas party for all of these. I think most of them were Muslim taxi cab drivers that had lost work at Reagan International.
Yep.
And
that was a great night.
Man, that was just a wild experience, being able to love people that you would probably rarely connect with. I mean, the Surge Mobile, all the outreach events, the mission trips are great. Some of my best memories are ones that I get the privilege of sharing with you, but a lot of other people don't. Over the years, we've been on staff retreats, and we've gone some places. You and I went to France with our wives to build a relationship with a missionary there. And neither of us had been to Europe before. And that was an incredible experience, just for me, eye-opening. But just to see some of Darin's ability to navigate cross cultures was really cool.
Yeah.
And there's hundreds of things, little things and big things. I remember, I don't know if it was somebody else got the little fart machine, and we were placing that under people's chairs in the office one day, and that was just crazy, stupid stuff. But we've had just a lot of fun, so much.
A lot of laughs, a lot of fun. It's I'll never be able to duplicate this period of my life. Just a lot of fun, and God just got a hold of all of it. And look, I mean, even I think also about finally getting into our building, in Germantown. That was a whew, but that was a cool moment as well too. So
16 years of Portage Church is crazy. Let me just tell you, God's been with us through that whole time and done some amazing stuff.
Yeah, great people, Journeys Crossing. I mean, it's about the people, right? It's it's cool stuff. Yeah.
So, if it's been so fun and so good, people might be asking, well, why are you leaving then, right? Which was kind of my initial response, but it's definitely painful to see you go, and we don't want to see you go, but we totally understand and know that, this is a different chapter for both of our lives. So why don't you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so our lives play out kind of like seasons, Mark, and the thing about seasons is you can't control them. They kind of come upon you, and you can't change them or control them anyway. And so I'm kind of at this season now. It's called the getting older season kind of thing. And so what I did was I took kind of a look out, like 10 years out, and I said to myself, can I really see myself as being a pastor at Journeys Crossing or anywhere else for that matter at 67? Because I'm 57 and I'm like, no, not 67. Then I kept going backwards, 66, 65, 64. And so what happened as I was thinking about it is the amount of time that I have left, I think, as a pastor wasn't as great, wasn't as long, I guess you could say, as I'd hoped that it would be. But so I never really saw myself as retiring as a pastor or going into my 60s as being a pastor. So what that means to me then is that I've got a shorter amount of time if I'm going to make kind of a career move or try a new adventure, that I have to kind of go ahead and take a chance on that. So that was the big reason. It's really a career move for me. And I don't know what the next adventure is going to be, but that's kind of what it was. It's a season of life for me that just required me to kind of take a longer look at the future and then and see what I could do. So that's kind of it. So
I know it was not an easy decision for you. Right?
No, it was really gut wrenching, and for several reasons. The first one being, I still love what I'm doing. I still feel God's hand upon what I'm doing. So there's that. I still feel like I'm productive at it. Actually, even during COVID, I've been incredibly productive with God's grace and help. We've done a lot of things. So it's, and it's fun. I love the flexibility and the schedule and all the things. So that was hard. And then the other thing that's hard is I love Journeys Crossing. I love the people. The staff are my best friends, so those relationships are changing now, so that's a difficult thing. And then the other thing that's really, really hard is I'm fiercely loyal to the things that I go about doing. And so I talked to early on. I said one of the things I felt early on about this decision was I feel like I'm letting people down, and so that was hard. But anyway, just the hardest decision I've ever made. So for all those reasons, it was difficult, but. Yeah,
it was definitely a kick in the gut for me.
Yeah.
Because we've done so much of our lives together. But I totally understand, and the more I prayed about it, the more at peace I was about it, and realizing that, there's a time and a place, and there's this next few years. Journeys Crossing is going to go on without me, without you.
Yeah. It's bigger than us.
Bigger than us. Yeah. And part of this process is getting ready for that next decade or whatever after both of us are gone. So
that's right.
It's just a matter of time before these transitions are in all of our lives.
Yeah, and my leaving allows for a new season and a new opportunity for someone else that'll come in. And our target audience has always been young families, and I'm outside that range a little bit now, but it'll be good. It's an adventure. I was thinking too about some might ask, well, okay, so you decided not to be a pastor anymore, so why didn't you just stay in the area? And that's a good question too. And Donna and I thought about that too. We thought, okay, so the first decision was to kind of do a new career move, and then the second decision we kind of came to was, okay, so do we want to grow old here in Montgomery County, here in Germantown? Right. And that was a tough decision too, but as we started looking at things, and we opted for maybe something a little bit more simpler life, a little bit more affordable, a little slowed down, a little bit more like kind of my roots, where I grew up a little bit. So a little bit more scenic, a little bit more opportunities to
fish.
To go
yeah,
fish.
I know where this is going.
Fishing.
Fishing is a big deal.
Fishing, I'm busted on that fishing thing, but yeah, so that's why it was. I mean, we've loved Montgomery County and Germantown, given our lives here. So yeah.
I mean, you've been in Montgomery County before we even moved here. You were here. So that puts you how many years in Moco?
So yeah, so we moved here like in November of '94. So we're coming up on what, like 26 years in Montgomery County. So, and then I've been a pastor. You know, I started doing stuff in the 20s, much like you did. You know, so that means 35 years of being a pastor, and 26 of those here in Montgomery County. It's been a great run. But,
that's pretty cool from a guy from the middle of nowhere, Missouri.
That's right, and it also makes me very old. Feeling that.
Oh well.
I got a lot of miles on my my bones.
Well, tell them a little bit about where you're moving, because Virginia, we've said that, but it's not as far away as it might sound.
Right. So I think a good, let's see, kind of what do you call it? A place that people might recognize, I guess. I don't know the word I'm looking for there, but King's Dominion. Everybody knows King's Dominion.
Yeah.
Down 95. So it's about an hour and a half from here. The name of the town is called Ruther Glen, Virginia. It's really a bedroom community. One of the places that we're looking at has a lake on it. We actually have a contract on our house, which is great, and then we put a contract in another house. Right across the street, I can see the lake, and so Ruther Glen, Virginia. It's a bedroom community. A lot of the people commute into Richmond or to Fredericksburg, so it's like right in the sweet spot, right in between there, and it checks all the boxes about kind of like rural living and kind of simplified affordable housing, those kind of things. So, so that's
and the lake.
And the lake.
Yeah.
And right now, Donna's brother Ed and his wife Jennifer live there, and their daughter Kate. So we're hanging out with them. And
so you'll have family there too.
Exactly.
And it won't be far from your daughters.
That was the other decision, part of the decision. Marisa lives here in Montgomery County, and Jenna is a school teacher up in Baltimore County, and so we wanted to stay, within a close distance. And the other cool thing is too, we'll have people down, Mark. We're so close. Like I said, we're just a shot down 95. Have people down, and we're close enough up that I can come up and guest speak and do some stuff.
Absolutely. You might be moving, but you're not getting away.
That's all right. That's right. I definitely want to stay on the East Coast. And
you said you're an hour and 20 minutes away.
Exactly. I just made the trip this morning. Yeah, that's about how far it is.
So when I go to King's Dominion, I don't have to rush home after a long night. I can come crash at your place.
That's right. You don't have to have a hotel. You can just come over.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I don't know if you'd be offering that to everybody, but just,
Not all at the same time, but yeah. So.
Well, it's good to know that you're going to be close.
Yep.
And there'll be plenty of opportunities that we're going to have you come up and speak. And, there's just a lot of things. We're not going to let you go that easily. All right?
Yeah.
And you're close enough for us to bug you. But I am thrilled for this chapter of your life. And I know you've earned it.
Thank you.
You've certainly earned it. And that makes me happy.
Thank you.
To hear that there's this kind of transition going.
Yeah.
Although it stinks big time for me and for us, but
yeah. And you and I talked very early on about how we want it to be a smooth transition as well.
Right.
So it's like a stop, and Darin's gone.
Right.
So I'm grateful that Journeys Crossing is going to let me still be on the Journeys Crossing staff through the fall.
Yep.
Not indefinitely, but through the fall.
Yep.
And I can help. There's still a lot of things, that we want to do through September, October, November, and then get you guys set up for December as well, because that's a prime time for outreach and stuff like that, and always a busy time of the year too.
Right.
So we'll just keep going with Journeys Crossing, and then eventually there'll be a time when we'll call it quits.
Yeah. So just because you might be watching this, you might be imagining, I'm never going to see Darin again. No, that's not the case. You probably won't see or know a whole lot different because of COVID, right?
Exactly.
As he's still going to be recording messages and preaching and teaching and organizing stuff, and you're just a stone's throw away.
Yeah, and I'll be up here like once a month. Like I'm up here, we're recording obviously from your house today. I'll probably be up on average once a month doing outreach stuff and speaking, and
So, and email him at his email or text him, all of those things. None of those are changing for now.
Yeah.
And that'll help us kind of transition and figure out what some of the next things for us are as well.
Yeah.
This is not the most fun thing for me to do, but it is an opportunity for both of us and all of us to have a next chapter.
Yeah.
We wanted to and will want to somehow have a big party.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And celebrate you. And it's really a bummer that we can't do that right now, but we will. When that moment comes, we'll give people at the church an opportunity and to share, to let them hug you, and thank you for all the ways that you've touched everybody's lives.
Air hugs.
Yeah.
I could easily see us come, sometime whenever whenever we decide, like a Saturday, just taking the whole day, and people could come up in waves of different people, and we can say goodbyes and stuff, and encourage each other and stuff like that. So yeah. So.
All right. Well, we love you.
Yeah. Same.
And people might think that there's something. Is there some kind of a conflict or a problem that you have with somebody on the staff or somebody in the church? Yeah. And what would you say to that?
Yeah, it seems like whenever it's kind of a unique thing, whenever someone leaves a church, too often there's like he's mad at somebody, or he couldn't get along, or there was some moral failing or something to do with finances or something like that, or he didn't like the direction of the church. And I just want to assure everybody that's not the case at all. There was none of that, not even a hint of any discord or division or anything with me, the church, the staff, anybody. Just a career move for me.
You and me okay?
We're great.
All right.
We've always been great.
Always
we've had each other's backs all these years and stuff. And in fact, I think one of the things I'd want to say to people, if people would say, well, how could we thank you or honor you and Donna for the service that you guys have done here? And I would say just keep loving and serving and giving your lives to Journeys Crossing and to Jesus, obviously. And I think that's what would make Donna and I the most happy, is to know that even after we're gone, that people are still fully engaged in the mission of Journeys Crossing, which has always been to meet people where they are and to help people find and follow Jesus. That's the thing that started this whole thing, right? And so that doesn't stop. That just keeps going. And man, I think great days are ahead for Journeys Crossing. I think you guys, you'll just keep going, man, and it'll get stronger and better. And I'm definitely going to keep tabs on it, and of course I'm going to stay in contact with you as we've always done. And it's all going to be good. I guess kind of just parting thoughts, if you will. I've always loved this church, loved the people. It's so unique, It's like nothing ever, the diversity of our church and just the way that people are growing and loving one another. It's just incredibly unique. And, I don't get to see my parents very, very often back in Missouri, maybe once a year and sometimes even less. And I remember one of Jesus' disciples said, "Hey, Jesus, we left our family to follow you." And Jesus was quick to point out, he goes, No one leaves their family unless I will give them multiple brothers and sisters and moms and dads. And that's exactly what he's done through Journeys Crossing it all for us. So extremely grateful for Journeys Crossing, and love you guys. And we're not far away. You don't really say goodbye to family, right?
No. Just see you then.
See you later. Yep. All right. Peace out.